Hey, back for part two. Um, it's a different day because it got a bit dark yesterday, and I went through a bit of a what's it? I couldn't stop laughing. I thought I can't be filming when I'm cackling in quiet here. So yeah, different day and the continuation. Right, I just want to say that these videos, I'm just kind of filming them as a bit of therapy for me, really. Um, just to kind of get it off, just to kind of get off your chest, really. I shouldn't be growling too much today because it was oh, I shouldn't be growling too much. I was 3:30 yesterday. I had my lunch 3:30. So anyway, yeah, let's cut the cackle. Right. I think kind of with the beauty of hindsight and all that, you can kind of look back, can't you, and think, oh yeah, that must have been where my myriad of issues started. Um, I do use humour. I think I, th- I think yeah. I think if you can laugh at your own kind of screw ups and the state that you're in, I think that's a good thing. I do think it's a very healthy thing to kind of laugh at yourself and yeah. So I do use humour in the darkest of moments. Probably quite inappropriately sometimes. I'll come out with some inappropriate quip from an old sitcom or something. Um, but yeah, hindsight, right? Um, I mean, I can see now clearly my issues started when I was about 10 because my dad died when I was 11. He had leukemia and he'd had that for 7 years. So I don't really remember him not being ill, you know. Um, and yeah, I think that was the kickstart that kind of, because my weight started creeping on from then. I was a really slim young boy. And I was blonde as well. I was completely blonde, like really golden blonde, until about, I don't know, about 12. And then you just like literally overnight you wake up, you got dark hair. It's really weird. But yeah, when I look back at my early pictures, I'm a blonde. um, what was I saying? I do lose my thread quite a bit. Um, yeah, the weight started going on, and the I remember my final year of primary school. I don't think I was there very much. Um, and no, I don't think I was there. So that started my whole school kind of issue. um, yeah, and then with secondary school, I do remember going and kind of not feeling too bad with the first couple of days, but I do remember that we were obviously in our form classes, and then in your whole class, so like 22, 23 people or whatever, um, had the same lessons. You all had exactly the same lessons in the same rooms, and I was all right with that. But then I think it might have been the second year into the school. All that changed. All that changed, and we were all like siphoned off to different, so you weren't with the whole class. And I didn't like that. I felt very uncomfortable. I'm sorry, a bit hacky. Yeah, I couldn't handle that, and that was the start of my complete downfall. And I was really fearful of going to school. And this wasn't just, we just don't want to go to school. We just don't want to get up in the morning and go to school. This was a real fear. This was a real fear. I did not want to go through that school. I did not want to walk through the school and have people looking at me. That was a thing. And so I wasn't there a lot. And when you've been off school for a couple of weeks, and then, well, when you've been off anywhere for a couple of weeks, and then you suddenly go back, what happens? Obviously, people naturally are curious, so they'll look, he's back, or whatever. Oh, the thought of that was like, I can't. And I couldn't deal with that. And so my school years were really not good. Because I mean, mental health wasn't what it is now. I don't really remember kind of anybody really delving into. I do remember being asked once, why don't you want to go to school? And I just said, I remember it, I said, because I don't. And that obviously wasn't the reason, but I didn't know about mental health. I would have been about, 13 at the time. I wouldn't have known if somebody said to me, what's mental health? I wouldn't have even had a clue. So I didn't know, even I didn't understand what was the reason, but I felt that we were just threatened all the time. I mean, I don't really remember getting any kind of help that would help me. And I was a very shy. I was quite a shy kid. I was quite an awkward young kid in school. I mean, kind of socially awkward. I mean, I wasn't part of the popular crowd or anything. I've lost myself now. How did I get onto that? But I mean, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just knew that I was quite terrified of going to school. And I felt that we just got threats all the time. I mean, I remember quite a few times them saying, if you don't go to school, your mother will get into trouble. She'll get into real trouble. And another one was, if you don't go to school, you might be taken away and put into a special school for other people like you. And I just think, my God, for a young, I was still a kid. For a young kid who's just lost their dad, to be told that, now you might be taken away from your mother. How horrific is that? I mean, seriously, how horrendous is that? But that was, that was the time. That was the 80s. But horrible. And there was one incident when it was me and some kind of social worker type woman who was actually a gran of a friend of mine, turned out. But anyway, took us off in a car one day, me and Mum, I think it was to Exeter, to a special school. And it was just for a look around. I didn't really know much of the details. I don't think Mum would have really told me much back in the day because she wouldn't have wanted to scare me. But yeah, anyway, we got there, and it's this regular kind of big building school thing. Lots of kids, lots of pupils walking around and stuff. And yeah, and they were talking to me and saying, "Oh, you know, I can't remember what they were saying, but I remember he called some woman, he called some kid over, some girl. I got a feeling she was called Tamazin. Did he say, oh, Tamazin, oh, can you just come here for a minute, Tamazin? And he opened the door. This was the head teacher. He opened the door. Oh, I must have just seen that as my chance, and I legged it. I went under his arm, and I said, I'm not going to this fucking dump. And I ran. I fucking legged it. And I ran as fast as you can run when you're plump. I wasn't massive at that point, but I was plump, and I legged it. Out to the opening of the building, to the gates. And I was crying. I remember that. And then some teacher was chasing me, not in a horrible way, just running with me. And I was crying and, obviously distressed. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And when it all kind of finished and we came home, I remember Mum saying to me, she did say that, oh, I only think they expected me to leave you there. Which, I would have been, oh my God, I cannot think. And just saying they forced her to leave me. They said, right, you can go now. We'll take him. And I just, oh God, I would not have coped. That would have been really traumatic. But anyway, yeah. I think it was there that we were taken off into a room, and I sat down and said, no, why don't you want to go to school? And I do remember saying, just because I don't want to. And I remember them saying, well, you really have to go back, because if not, there will be trouble or whatever. So say, you must go back tomorrow. And I do remember saying, I think that this was this occasion. I do remember saying, oh no, Monday, I'll go back on Monday. Yeah, I'll go back on Monday. And so they sent us home, and yeah, I did go back on the Monday, but I don't think I went back for very long. I just couldn't do it. It wasn't, I was looked at as a skiver. I think they just saw me as a skiver. Oh, he's just a skiver. He just doesn't like school. He just, wagging school, whatever. I wasn't a wagger. It wasn't like I was bunking off and legging it off down the chippy or whatever. I was terrified, like trying to make myself physically vomit so I could stay off. And then when you did stay off, they'd be phoning you. So the big old plastic phone with the really loud ring, that would be going. And sometimes they'd send people out to see me, and they'd be calling through the letterbox. All that stuff used to terrify me. And I think, no wonder I'm a fucking wreck now. And coincidentally, the phone and the door are two of my issues. So you can see, can't you? You can pinpoint when you look back. But yeah, not nice. Just really, really not nice. Yeah, the phone now, I don't have a phone now. You don't need one, do you? Because it's all fibre optic broadband, so you don't need a phone. So I don't have a phone. A house phone. I have my mother's old prehistoric mobile phone. I don't use it for calls, in or out. I just use it for when you need to confirm something. If you want to buy something, I always find you need it's an OTP and a one-time passcode if you're buying from a new website. I just use it for that. Hate phones. Hate phones. And when the door goes, if I can see who it is, if I know who it is, I'm fine. But if I don't know who it is, I ain't answering. I'm not answering to you. No way. So yeah, those have been big issues for me for many years, and that's obviously why. I think that's why, that's where it stems from. Um, and yeah, I've got a lot of hassle throughout my school years until my final year. We didn't get any hassle for the whole last year, so I think then they'd given up. But they even had the bloody, I found this quite sarcastic, the bloody gall to put out my exam papers on the desk. I mean, you seriously think I can just turn up to do my exams? So I felt that was a bit of a piss take. And yeah, I do. I am quite bitter about my. I am quite bitter about my school years, and I don't know. I just think if we had been helped back then, I might not be quite as bad as I am now. Not quite as bad as I've been, through all those years. Because that kind of branched off into other things. When I left school, I couldn't even think about getting a job. That would terrify me. I did do one day. That sounds awful. It was a picking daffodils in a field, and I remember that the day before going, I was in tears, completely in tears. I just don't want to go. Did it. Nearly threw up in the car journey. We had to travel about 5 miles. Once we got there, we had to travel about another 5 miles to really get to the field. And horrendously motion sick back then. I couldn't do that. I did it for the day, but I couldn't do it. And of course, then, oh God, this video is getting on again. I can see this being like a 3 or 4 parter. So then, kind of signing on the dole, which sounds terrible. But yeah, I only did that for, I'm guessing, about 6 weeks, because you had to actually physically go down and sign. You had to go into the labour exchange, it's called then. You sit down. Oh, have you done any work this week? I think it's every 2 weeks. Oh, no. And you sign your name, and then you go. And I was okay. I didn't like doing it. I was uncomfortable doing it, but every single week I had somebody to walk in with, because it was in town, about a mile away. I had somebody to walk in with, either a friend of mine, a couple of friends I think I used to go with. One, if one couldn't do it, the other one, or my sister or my mum. But 1 week, nobody was available. Nobody. Everybody was busy. They were either working or whatever. So I had to go on my own, and I couldn't do it. I was at the front door for probably about an hour and a half, just opening and then thinking, right, let's just do it. No, can't. And yeah, about an hour and a half, couldn't do it. Ended up in tears. Mum came back from work, I think she was, and I said, I can't do it. I can't do that again. Just phone them, tell them I want to cancel it. And I did. I did cancel it. So yeah, I only had a bit of monetary help for probably not even 2 months. And then I remember getting a bit of help again a couple of years later. So I reckon that must have been before I turned 18. Again, that wasn't for very long at all. That wouldn't have even been a year. But I do remember getting some monetary help, and then getting a letter, and it said, he no longer qualifies. So I'm guessing it was when I turned 18. So that was only for a couple of months as well. And then I didn't have any financial help until 2011, and I would have been 36. 36! So from 18 to 36, I didn't have any. I just did whatever I could to raise money. I mean, when eBay came in, yeah, I just sell whatever I had. If I wanted to buy something, I had to sell something. So, yeah, which isn't nice, is it really? When you think, oh, I'd love that CD. Oh, yeah, I've been looking for that for years, or that game, or whatever. You think, oh, right, quick, what can I sell? What can I sell? But yeah, I didn't get any financial help until I was 36. But yeah, not a good thing. I'm going to wrap up this second part because it's 20 minutes long. I can't believe this. Yeah, I could sit and chat with you guys for about an hour. But yeah, I'd be really interested to hear if any of you out there have had the same experiences. If any of you feel the same as me. But yeah, I'll leave this video for now, part 2, and I'll see you on the next part.